Hello, I believe we're live. Let me do something real quick so I can put a little bit more light on me. Alright, let's go to the internet. What was minimum wage in 2009? Oh, 2009 federal minimum wage they gave a little bit of a raise there, almost a dollar, $7.25. That's federal minimum wage. Okay. What is federal minimum wage in 2025? Huh. Unchanged since 2009. Oh, okay. Alright. What was average bills in 2009? Now this is going to fluctuate a lot. Why are all these purple? I've never clicked on any of these. This is what it is. No, I don't know what all that is. For Americans. Oh, in 2009, average income of 62,000, and spent 49 annually in housing. Monthly bill census. We'll just go. Let's go with what I'm familiar with. Okay. Oh, this is kilowatt hours. Well, let's look into it. So, Ohio 21,000. Let's say it's 13,117. This is how much it costs on average, just for the bill. So we got 13,117. Okay, now let's go back. What did I look at? Is that it? No. It's funny. Why can't I find anything? Well, let's just do 20. $25,000. Most people spend that in fucking rent. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't find anything. Like, even if your house, your mortgage, or whatever was $500 a month, you're spending 6 G's. Most people pay 1,000. That's 12 G's. A lot of people pay more than 1,500, which would be 18 G's. And you're telling me somebody spends $25,000 a year? What I'm trying to get at here is let me go over here, let me do this, let me pull this up. So you got this 7.25 equals, or times 40 equals 290. Alright, we're not doing any taxes or anything like that. So 290 times 4 equals times 12. This will give you roughly what federal minimum, about 14K. Today it's still the same, but most of your stuff has 4x, 5x, 6x, a lot. Let me make myself a little bit smaller here. Okay, so 7.25 times 4 equals $29 an hour. If you're making $29 an hour right now, you're making pretty much federal minimum wage. I don't care what anybody tells you. And then you multiply that times 40 equals times 4 equals times 12 equals, there's your 55K. Now with that being said, let's see house prices. Just one thing that you pretty much have to have. And you got, this great interest rate. I'm running 10%, seriously. 9 or 10 on this house. $2009 cost. Let's say it was 50K. Oh, yeah, there we go. 2009. Oh, those numbers aren't even right. Oh, it's only worth $79,000 today, guys. Oh, buying power. Yeah. So even your 50K back then is only worth 70,000. 79. Sorry, almost 80 now. No. This is all bullshit. Like, if I was to look at my mom's house, she bought it in '08, I believe. Maybe '09, somewhere in there, maybe '07. I don't really know. She purchased that house for I think it was $42,000. Okay. The house is worth over 150 now. So it's 3x. And this is not in a good place, good town. The house is old as hell. Like this one. It was built around 1910 to 1920. Same with this one. My house, nothing. I bought it in 2021, probably the worst time too. It's just, it's went up 300% in taxes, consecutively, meaning they were supposed to audit it every 6 years, but since I bought it, they have been jacking it up ever since then, for whatever reason, every single year. So, there's that. But Yeah, if you're bought a house, really depending, on your location, most of them have 5x, 6x since this time. And with this going on around that time, probably never going to see that again. You're going to look maybe at what's average. Or, well, yeah, you're not gonna, yeah, interest. Oh, 6, 5, 6, probably 7. You have a little. This is probably with good credit too, like great credit. Probably looking at 8. You're running like bare minimum 640 or whatever it is, 650. Yeah, looking at 9 like I was. I put like 40% down on this house. I had 700 and something. It's not crazy, like 720, somewhere around there, credit score. I got boned, boy. Boned. But I got the house for 65,000. Falling apart. I had to update everything. Everything you could think of. Water heater, everything. It didn't even come with a stove, a refrigerator, anything. And it had a kitchen sink and a toilet. Anything more than that? Nope. Nothing. Like literally nothing. Oh, there was a furnace, but it's like the water heater. She was fucked. Tens of thousands of dollars. You heard that right. With the down payment and, getting necessities. So, I would say, comfortably, like, I've already put 50K into this house overall. And then I still owe like 40, 30, probably 38 or something like that left on it. I got a pretty good deal, considering. I thought so anyway. And, like, look at that. We'll call it, yeah, 23, 24, 2300. Let's say 2300. See how hard it is to find information? Maybe I don't know what exactly I'm looking. Yeah, I understand it was 200. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, interest rate, yeah. Wait, historical average is 7. Okay. I don't believe this is right. Oh. Oh, okay. Sure. So let's do some math, I guess. So you get 185 times 0.05 equals, you multiply that times 30. That's what you're going to pay. So divide that by 30. Am I doing this wrong? Am I dumb? Divide that by 12. 770 on that. Somewhere around the mark. That sounds about right. My brother got a house for, I think, 119. I don't know what his interest rate was, but it was about like $1,000 or $1,100 a month. So maybe my math is wrong, but this was back in like maybe 2010, 20 or 2009, somewhere in there. Because I was barely, like, I was in high school, like maybe a freshman. Ooh. So I'm gonna go off of his. $1,100 on average, and it was an average house. It was a 2-bath, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, garage. Just normal, 1-story. In Texas. It was a nicer area in Texas, but hey, we'll go with that for an average. $1,100. Now it's double. I remember when I first started working, a cube, like a 24-pack of Pepsi or Coke or whatever, was like $6 and something cents. What is it now? Double. These are just the small things. No, the housing thing is fucking insane. When I was working with people out in the field, they were telling me they had $2,400 house payments. What's the average car payment? Golly, 700. You know what I was paying for a Nissan Versa note? In 2016, maybe 2015, 2016. I think it was 2015 or 2016. Maybe it was 2014. Not 100% sure. You know what I paid? Where'd that calculator go? Let's say it was for 6 years. That's about right. Or 5 years. A little bit less, probably. That's what I would have paid for it. You know how much the car insurance on that thing was? $415 a month, because I was young. I was going to pay twice to the people, the bank. I was going to pay 4 times to the car insurance people, and there was something else I had to pay pretty much once for the car for. So I had to pay for this car 6 times. 6 times. That's not including car registration. That's not including maintenance, gas, whatever, blah, blah, blah. After I did the math on this when I got home, because I was a lot younger and just a mere boy, I was like, something about this doesn't feel right. Like, I'm paying pretty much $1,000 a month for, you want to see the car? Ooh. I think it was a 2014 Nissan Versa Note. It was this one right here. It was a 5-speed manual, pretty much like this. $3,900. It had literally like maybe 6,000 miles on it or something when I got it. Now I bet if you found one that had 6,000 miles on it, it would be worth more now than it was then. You know what I mean? In studio apartments, 1 bedroom, I think a 2 or 3 bedroom. You know what I was paying for it? About half that. I think it was like $800 a month. I think I had 1, 2, I think I had 3. Has your pay doubled? And this, all these times that I'm talking about is like 2016. So what I'm trying to get at here is between about 2016 to 2018, somewhere in there, things have doubled since then. And things have doubled since 2009 to then. You want to know what my first apartment cost me? It was $400 for a pretty much studio with some bills included. I think I got like water and some other shit for free. I just had to pay for like electricity and Wi-Fi. And when you're making, I think I was making like $13 an hour or something like that as a machine operator at some company. I don't even, like, I drove by it the other day. I think they switched or sold out like 4 different times since then. I did some research on it. I was like, But, yeah. Imagine making $14 an hour right now. That's double what the federal minimum wage is. And, hey, you need a 2-bedroom apartment. So we can go back over here. We can go to calculator. 130 times 40 equals 520. Let's throw you like an extra. No, let's say you work some overtime to come up for the taxes on that, like 50 hours or something like that. Making $520 a week times 4 equals, that's $2,000 a month, right? And that's with some overtime. How are you going to be able to pay this? Plus your internet, plus your Wi-Fi, plus your car note, plus your insurance, plus your... You see what I'm saying? You can't. I drive... Well, and I did drive for Uber. I'm probably going to here soon, again. But I know that it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to pick these younger people up, and they are going to be going from some rundown little motel to a Amazon warehouse or some other manufacturing company making what they feel, or the warehouse feels, is a livable wage, and you'll just watch these people in really, really sad situations, like not living well at all. And they're working full time. That's why I said if you're making $29 an hour, you even have less buying power than I did when I started. So, like, going from Wendy's, some small little Wendy's, I'm gonna make myself some small little Wendy's job for $7.25 minimum wage. Hell, it could have even been $8 an hour. I don't even recall. But it was pretty much the lowest that you can get. Part-time, mind you. This wasn't even full-time. I was working because they didn't want to give benefits, any health care or anything like that. So it was I think it was less than 32 hours they didn't have to give you any benefits. So I'm doing that, and I live on my own. My life's alright, not tripping. I went all the way until 2016. I got better, like a $10 an hour full-time job. And then I got a job with a little bit of overtime that's $13 an hour. And then eventually, you know what kept on making me forced to get better jobs? Because I wasn't able to live as the time kept on going on these other wages. I was not inflating my lifestyle in any way. When I got that car, I paid like 4 bills on it. And then I just let them fucking have it. I was just like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not paying for this car 7, 8, 9, 10 different fucking times. It didn't even have it just had the crank windows in it. A 5-speed manual transmission. Yeah. Cheapest car you could possibly get. They wanted me, like, after everything was said and done, I'm paying, like, all these different conglomerates a whole shit ton of money. How are you supposed to live? You know what I mean? And, like, going back to these numbers, everything has pretty much doubled. Generally between 852 and 1709. Guarantee if I go back to that apartment, I don't want to like dox anybody or whatever. I'm not going to look up some information. But guarantee I look at that apartment, it's going to probably be right here or probably 1600. Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. It was just I was working at a big construction company doing an underground polyethylene unit in Baytown, Texas for Exxon. Okay. Making, what was it? I think I was like $18.70 something cents, but I was working 72 hours a week. And then the fatigue week, I would get less. 12-hour days. Sometimes we'd work some more, sometimes it'd be a little bit less, whatever. And, you get rained out. Well, I was on the skeleton crew. I was sitting there demucking sumps, pumping water when we got rained out. So I was there 24 fucking 7, basically. And, at that time, I could, let's do some quick math. My apartment was $800 a month. So, I don't remember, we'll just put 72 times 72 hours equals, boom. I didn't even put the overtime, you know what I mean? Like the wage in there, that looks about right. Somewhere in there. At least 1,000. At least 1,000 I was making every week. Minimum. All day. Even on the shit weeks to where it was just like, well, we're only doing like 10 or whatever. But that looks about right. And I don't know where taxes have, if they've gotten worse or whatever, but yeah. And so for this, I was able to pay for my hotel. So you subtract, we'll just do $1,300 minus 800. I said hotel, I meant my apartment. And then you minus the car payment, like $280 something. And then you subtract like 40 or whatever for the internet. And then, oops, I hit divide, 213, so let's call that like 160. And then there'd be my food. And then the next week you can come in with that $1,300, and then you subtract out like your car insurance, your cell phone, like pretty much. I paid all my bills in 2 weeks. Like that, maybe a week and a half. Hell, some weeks, if I really pinched it. Now, on other jobs, when I was getting more money, like to where it was $25 an hour times the 72. Oops, did wrong. 25 times 72 hours equals 1,800. With, I would get per diem, vouchers, truck allowance, all this other stuff. That's about right. Maybe, yeah, about 1,700 bucks. 18 with, or yeah, about, yeah, I would say. And then, you know, this would take care of all my bills in 1 week. See where I'm getting at? Life was pretty good. This was 2017 or so, 2018. And as I started watching all this go on, I'm like, I can have kids. You know what I mean? I can do all this stuff. I never had, besides that one car, I don't think I've ever had a car payment. I've just cash car, put a couple hundred, maybe even 1,000, maybe sometimes a little more into it if I really thought like lower miles or whatever. And I just drove it and maintained it real well, thoroughly. Did the transmission flushes, did the oil changes, did the brakes, the rotors, the tires, did all that shit. And just meticulously maintained it pretty well, checked it all the time, like once a week, check the radiator, check all the hoses, check for evap leaks, whatever, and you're good. But now we're into the point to where, let's say you're making 30 times the 72 equals, okay, now you do that times 4. That's about what that looks about right. Okay. Now the taxes are a little more funky once you get up here. Promise. It's usually around, like, with overtime and everything, you put that at about 10 grand. They take half ish, so you're probably left with something more looking about like that. Then you get these $2,400 for the house, and then you got a car. Oh, that's another 700. Oh, you have to have full coverage on it. That's another 400. See where this is going? Oh, you need to eat. That's 1,200. You want to have a cell phone? There's $100. You want to have electricity in your house? Good night. Depending on the size of the house, we'll just be generous here. Oh, you want homeowners insurance? You have to have it? That might be in the escrow or the payment. Yeah, that in the taxes. Maybe. If you didn't set it up like mine, probably. What else? You want to have gas to go to and do things? Oh, well, let's do about 200 there. What else? Netflix, other things? No, maybe you cut that out. What's something else that you need to have? Water, trash. We'll just lump all these stupid ass things 400. It leaves you 700. You got kids? You're in the hole. See how quickly that went? My bills, when I first got here, back in 2021, were at most $1,200 a month. In 2025, over $2,500 a month. Doubling? Yes. I thought I set things up real well too. So not only did things double from 2009 to, let's say, 2016, somewhere in there, but things have more than doubled, in my opinion, since around 2016, 2018 to 2025. So essentially, my last job, let me pull out this calculator again. I just want to show something. From flipping burgers from $7.25 an hour to being electromechanical maintainer at a steel mill, which I was I think I was making 31.15 or something like that. And our work was real weird. Like, there really was no overtime. We all A, B, C, D shift, and then fuck, I forget what they called it. Work shift work, I guess. I mean, I would be days for 7 days, and then I would get like 2 days off fatigue, and then I would go over to second shift, work 7 days, 2 days off fatigue, go on to third shift, work 7 days, and then get the long weekend, which was like 3 or 4 days. So it all averaged out to about 40 or so, maybe sometimes a little more, depending on what all really happened. I would say probably about 40. I'd say you'd average out about 43, 44 hours a week ish, somewhere in there. Yeah, we'll call it 45. We'll just call it 31 even. That's about, maybe cut a little off that. Let's just say 1,200. Oh, but years. But when I first got here and everything, I was once again in that. Like, hey, I could work. I can make this happen. 1,200. That's about what my bills are. No car note, no extra credit cards, no nothing. But quickly, things started changing, and then it became to where all my shit was 2,000 towards the end of it, and I'm like, fuck. Yeah. So essentially, I'm making a Wendy's paycheck, having the skills to pay the bills of being an electromechanical maintainer in a steel mill, troubleshooting 480 live on mechanical armature contactor fucking cranes from the 1960s. A lot of programmable logic control, whatever else, blah blah blah, throw it all in there. I'm essentially worth $7.25 to this day. Call me crazy. But if you go down like all the math and all the ways that I'm thinking about these types of things, essentially I'm still making the same amount of money for doing highly more dangerous stuff and highly more skilled stuff than throwing a couple fucking patties on a grill, closing it. There was somebody that worked the fries. A couple potatoes. Every once again, hey, stir chili, sanitize stations, check hold time, please and thank you, load and unload. And I would just put burgers on the grill. I wasn't even like sandwich maker or anything. Sometimes I'd be on the fries, sometimes I'd be on the grill. It was easy work. Easy work. Now fucking changing phases on pumps, fucking running high voltage to disconnects, troubleshooting starters, relays, whatever, whole bunch of different shit. Fucking rewiring thermocouplers on these big ass furnaces, changing out probes, troubleshooting fucking the cranes, whatever else. I was an apprentice there for, roughly 6 months or so, and then I was just like, nah. Nope. The thing that got me was I don't sleep well as it is. And I had a couple of things that I was doing which would intensify not sleeping well. And with that, I could only last like 6 months before I was fucked. I was just done. It's 2 to 3 hours every night when I was working. And then I would come home and just fucking pass out some of the times. Like all the way until work the next day. Just was what it was. If they would have had it, hey, you could work, first shift or second shift or third shift like 24/7. Hey, I would have been game with it. I think I would have been. I'd still be there. I'd still be working it out. But no. But still, even then, I guarantee you right now, I'd still have to work 2 weeks for having less of a lifestyle than I did back then. I know I worked a lot more hours back then, okay? I do understand that. But this is here and now. And I would have to work 2 weeks for living less of a life. Let's 18 times 40. I can still pretty much pay my rent with that. And then, the next one would cover everything just as well with the 18 times 40. So it's still drawing the same conclusion that even on just the regular 40 hours, way back then, I still have to do the same thing way more now, but I have to do a lot more work, a lot more productivity, a lot more stress, a lot more knowledge to live less of a lifestyle than that I did in 2009. Or when I graduated in 2013. So effectively, over time, I've lost value, but I've gained a lot of skills and knowledge. You know what I mean? That's why, when I go into these, I've been to a couple of job applications not too long ago or whatever, and they told me the pay and I laughed. Just being transparent with them. I'm like, what makes you think that I'm going to go in there and do all that shit? I didn't say it like that, but I was like, hey, what makes you think I'm going to go in there and produce these goods and services all day long, Donkey Kong, for something that I can't even pay my bills with? It just doesn't make any sense. Oh, well, this is what the job's worth, so you're going to find somebody else that you could suppress into strife. You know what I mean? It's not all the company's fault. It's not all... Yeah, it is. It's the company's fault. It's our government's fault. It's everybody. Look at all the stuff that came out in, the last couple of weeks with all the Somalians and the daycares. I think it was hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in fraud. Couple $100 million, that's a lot less taxes that you have to pay. You know what I mean? And not only this, but when you start getting in these little bit higher tax brackets to where it's like, hey, you're making a little over $100K a year, they're taking half your shit. Just in income tax. Almost half. I had to quit looking at my fucking pay stubs because I seen $10,000 months. Yeah. It was bi-weekly, there was $5,000. And then I looked at his $2,500 deposit. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah. Yep. Taking pretty much half. So I do more work, you know what I mean? And then all this other stuff, I get smarter, they take more. Welcome to life, bud. No, that's not, no. No, sir. What are you trying to tell me right now? You get smarter, you work harder, you work longer hours, you're away from your family more, you're producing the company way more money, and you take the brunt of it by having less to where you can't pay your bills in a single week. I asked my mom, in the 2008 or wherever, she was working at some little, well, I shouldn't say little, it was a pretty decent sized facility. It was I think they made like floor mats and some other shit there, I'm not sure. But she was just, going around like picking orders, forklift, shipping, I think, something like that. She was able to pay all of her bills in 1 week's worth of work. Now, maybe some would say, oh, well, your lifestyle's grown. No, it has only gone down. Because I have not been working the 9 to 5 job. If there's something that I can control, I control it. And as far as not participating. What do you want?
Um, can I eat some of my pie?
Sure.
Alright, what do I do with pews?
I don't know, Kimber. If I lost my foot, she was able to pay all of her stuff with 1 week, right? I believe that everybody should be able to pay all their bills with 1 week's worth of work, no matter what the job. If it's, I mean, look at the things they got going on with the daycares. They're not doing it. What are they doing? They're sitting in there playing freaking Minecraft or just making the day go by. People went up and said, "Can I put my child in here?" They said no. I mean, obviously there are some people in this world that produce goods and services and work hard manual labor jobs to just benefit the other people that don't do a damn thing. You know what I mean? So why can't everybody just survive off of 1 week's worth of work? Like, I mean, just be able to pay all your stuff. Like, just your regular bills. That right there would solve a lot of problems, I feel like. Like, just whatever you want to call it. Just put a bill in there or something. Hey, if you can't pay these people a livable damn wage, why are you in business? Right? Like, you see these billion, trillion dollar CEOs. Are they paying their employees livable wages? I don't know. That's something I'll have to research into. But if you're not able to pay somebody to where they can put their kid through school, have nice meals every night, drive a car that is safe on the road, because I've worked on a lot of people's cars to where I'm like, probably need to go ahead and rip the tires off these things. Because this thing, like, the frame's fucking, like, rusted so bad it's split and everything. I'm like, they're like, can you fix it? I'm like, no. I don't have the expertise to do that. I could put your wheel bearing on, but I would go ahead and retire this bad girl. And some people have to do it. And not only are they jeopardizing their own lives because some other greedy individual is taking advantage of them, they're jeopardizing your life by being on the road with you and me and my daughter. We have to fix what's going on here. We really do. And I believe it all starts with our leadership in this country. Because if they're allowing that type of stuff, like all the money going to Ukraine, like, I'm not trying to get over political or anything, but like, you guys have seen all the shit that's been going on. What are we doing here? We can't do anything. And that's where they want us, like, I feel like that's where they want us to be. Hey, he doesn't have money for just an example, further education to get smarter. Oh, he doesn't have the ability to do anything really, because all money is pretty much like it just buys you more freedom. Look at all these million, billion, trillionaires that just pretty much get off on whatever because they got enough money and influence. And if we allow this type of stuff to happen, it's going to be normalized. So I think it starts with our leadership in this country, which I have a feeling, I'm just saying it now, it's literally the tail end of 2025. It's about to be 2026 here in like 2 hours or something. They're going to implement within the next couple of years, I feel like. Trump may be our last president. Just throwing that out there. He might be our last president. Because I have a feeling with the legislation and everything that they wrote, they're going to try to put artificial intelligence as our leadership. And it's going to be the same people telling the other people what to put in this artificial intelligence to make the same calls. This way it separates them from accountability. That's what it's going to be. And then where it's all going to transcend, in my opinion, is when they figure out how to do this here. They get the quantum computing and they get the artificial intelligence. And once they put those two things together, I don't know what the answer is. Because with the quantum computing, they can solve really complex things that would take a supercomputer like 20, 30 years, and it'll 30 seconds or so. So once you get that much thinking going with the artificial intelligence or learning or whatever it is, you're going to have 30 years worth of computing power done in 30 seconds. So, and I'm pretty sure that the artificial intelligence is a lot smarter than I am. And with, all that being said, I just hope somebody agrees with me. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. Could be. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm just spitballing ideas out here on the internet. Like just a little guy. I think I got like 70 something subscribers or whatever. Just a little guy running through like just simple thinking processes on the internet. Maybe I could get some more computing power, more thoughts, and be able to break all this down better for somebody. But I'm just throwing you like a bone here in my subjective experience to where I've gotten so many raises over the years and never made a single more dollar. And this is over the span of a decade, a little over a decade essentially. And I've been just as poor my whole entire life, making 4 times as much money as when I did in 2012, 2013. Sounds like a pretty good, jump. It's like, oh, I started at $7 and now I'm at like 31 something. You could have budgeted your money more. No, all my money went to fucking bills and taxes. Bills, taxes. Yeah, sure, I spent a couple dollars here and there on like some fucking wacky tobacco and maybe a couple brews and whatever else, but I'm telling you, all my money went to make other people more rich, and I'm sure there's millions, probably billions more of us out there that have all went through the same crap I'm talking about. And I don't know about y'all, but I've worked some very dangerous jobs, like to where it's like my life legitimately at a lot of points were at risk in a lot of different situations. And looking back on it, I'm like, for fucking $20 or 30 or whatever it was for, I'm like, nah. Yeah, I've been in smoke pens trying to smoke a cigarette like shaking like this because I legitimately thought I was going to die. More than one occasion. Don't know. But all I gotta say is this shit ain't it. I was born in 94. Whatever you wanna make assumptions about me, oh, he's a Gen X, or not Gen X, millennial, fucking Zoomer, whatever, who knows. These are all just, I have nothing to gain by lying to you. Just my subjective experiences. Just a dumbass talking on the internet. But, thought I'd make that video. Maybe I'll make more like it, who knows. Thanks for watching.